Hello and welcome to Packman Paranormal. You gonna do that?
I'm gonna do that because
All
you
right.
never do.
All right, that way you can't yell at me. Welcome, folks. Special show. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Hello, Vicky. We already see Vicky in the house. I'm sure there's others popping up over. Sherry.
There's Sherry, of course. Yep. Last week we had a good show. We had Dale Clark on from Waverly Hills Sanatorium and dispelled a few rumors about things that were going on at Waverly. Since then, we've met with Dale, and looks like I'm going to be back on the hill hosting private investigations again. That's what I've been hoping for. I've missed that place. I think Denise is going to be volunteering up there. We got some other friends that are going to be joining us on the hill, plus all my old friends from the time I'd spent there before.
Beth says she shared the shit out of it.
But yeah, I see that. She shared the shit out of it. But tonight is going to be a little bit different show for us. We have long time been fans of Rodney Norman. He's a comedian. He does several characters. He does a variety of things with his comedy that we just love. Yeah. We stay up and watch his videos and share them on Facebook, whatever. Yep. I like him a lot, and I think you guys will like him too. But there's been a lot of drama, a lot of negativity in the paranormal world, and really in the world in general. And so we thought, who better to come on and help us get through it than the super ultimate master motivator, Leonard Macronsky. I was waiting for you to say something.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
So, folks, without further ado, let's all give a warm welcome to Leonard Macronsky. And I'm going to get him on the screen as soon as I hit the right button. Hello, and how are you?
Hello, and welcome to this evening. Is that what I look like?
That's you. Yep.
That's you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hello. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you. We thought you could maybe cheer us all up. Yep.
Yeah. You got it.
You're looking good. You're looking good.
You got it.
Okay.
So, first off, I guess the obvious question, since this is a paranormal show, do you believe in ghosts?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. Of course there's ghosts. Because, all we are is we're just energy just kind of floating around. We're just kind of here in a temporary state. In fact, we're the dead ones in reality because we're closed off to all the other stuff that's going on around us. And then when we stop being here and we are born into an existence, then we get to see more stuff. So so when you think about dead, we're the ones who are dead. We're the ones that got the issues. That's how I see it.
I agree 100%.
We're just wandering around, bumping into stuff ourselves. So that's how you have to look at it. We're not trying to find the dead people. We're the dead people trying to communicate with people who are actually living. And once you get that figured out, then it's a lot easier to understand why we're screwed up.
Right.
I think we're the ones in the driver's seat. We're just a bunch of fish in a bowl. Sitting there going, hey, what's wrong with these other people out there? That's the to that thing right there. Everybody's got it wrong. We all got it backwards.
I think you're right.
I mean, so we can only physically see about 0.0035% of all the light waves and stuff going around us. There's always this light and energy like going everywhere. We just a tiny part of it, and then we go, hey, if we can't see it, then it's not real. Well, that's the stupidest thing ever. If I can't see it, I don't think it's real. That's a pretty stupid, limited belief right there. That's the problem. We're all stupid, and we don't realize how stupid we are.
Well, I took the test to determine if I was stupid or not, your test, and I don't think I'm stupid. Because my glass, every time I poured stuff in it, there was room for it. Because I kept taking a drink. You know what I'm saying?
That's the secret. That's the secret. You take the knowledge in, and then you piss it out. That is the secret to the whole thing. So you make more room.
Exactly. I know you're out there in the mountains a lot. And, you know, there's one thing that people talk about out there, and that's in the Pacific Northwest especially, not too far from where you're at, is Bigfoot. Have you ever had an encounter out there?
Well, Bigfoot's everywhere. I mean, it likes northeast because there's lots of more places to hide, get away from people. Plus, he enjoys the colder weather because, you know, he's got a thick coat of fur. It's just kind of nicer to hang out in the cooler climates, you know. And but yeah, I love the Bigfoot. I don't know that I want to run into a Bigfoot because they're not necessarily the most pleasant individuals. They got, you know. Plus, they're in an interdimensional war with the Greys, and you don't want to get involved in that.
That's true.
You're exactly right.
Exactly. Speaking of the Greys, have you ever seen one of them?
I believe I have, but I'm not sure, but I think I did one time. But
what was he doing? He wasn't trying to steal your underwear or anything, was he?
No, he ran across the street in front of me. He was chasing a chupacabra. I mean, it was late at night, and I drank a lot of Mellow Yellow, so I might have been just seeing things, but that's what I saw. That's what I decided was part of my reality was I saw a chupacabra running away from a gray alien one night. I got nothing else to describe or explain what it was that I saw, so that's what I'm going with.
It sounds logical to me. It makes perfect sense. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you know, I mean, as ghost hunters, we deal with a lot of things. Usually, they're just good spirits. You know, just good people. But every now and then, we'll run into something that some people might call demonic or dark. And I mean,
things get ugly. Things get really ugly.
Have you ever had any experience with anything like that?
No, they don't seem to like me too much. The ghosts just don't seem to hang out when I'm there. People tell me, "Oh, you got to come here. It's all haunted and there's ghosts." And then I show up and it's like there's no cold spots or anything. It's just kind of like, well, hey, ain't nothing going on. And then they say, well, we swear there were ghosts here. And it's not like I'm a disbeliever. I'm pretty sure there's ghosts, but I'm pretty sure they just don't really care for me so much. That, to be honest, it kind of hurts my feelings.
You need to come with us sometime because if you come with us, you're going to have an experience. I can guarantee it.
I'd be delighted to.
Well, we're kind of magnets.
Yeah.
We are. We're magnets.
She pulls them in, and it's kind of scary sometimes. It really is. But
somebody asked over here about Mothman. Have you ever heard of the Mothman?
The Mothman. No, I'm not familiar with the Mothman.
He's from Point Pleasant, West Virginia. A lot of people aren't familiar with him, but they actually did a movie with Richard Gere called Mothman Prophecies that was kind of loosely based upon the Mothman philosophy.
This is true.
So, well, what's the Mothman? Tell me the story. Let's hear it.
Well, Chief Cornstalk, way back in the day, 1700s, had made a truce with the white settlers down there, right?
Yes.
That they would all be protected and they could continue to live on their land. And at some point, somebody decided.
We don't like to be called white anymore. We're Eurocentric entities.
Good point.
Someone decided to break the truce, and they ended up killing Chief Cornstalk. And as he was dying, he put a curse on the town of Point Pleasant that something horrible and tragic would befall them every 20 years, I believe it is.
That was 70.
Is it 70 years?
Know.
I don't remember the exact.
We're going to have to research that.
Yeah. But anyway, he supposedly makes his appearance every so many years that this curse was put on. And one of the last times that they said that he was seen, that they've got documentation, was I want to say it was 1967. They had the Silver Street Bridge fell across the Ohio River. Mm-hmm. It was the Ohio River, and I want to say 47 people died. 47 people died. That might be more. That might be a lot. It might have been less than that.
I don't know. There was a bunch of people.
A bunch of cars on the bridge. They all died. And supposedly there's a big monument to them down there. And there's a big Mothman statue actually in the middle of the town. But supposedly everybody saw him that night before the tragedy. And then right after that, people started asking questions. Reporters were trying to write stories on it. And the Men in Black actually showed up in the town. And one of the ladies that was gathering all the evidence and getting ready to do the story ended up disappearing mysteriously after the Men in Black showed up, and they never found her.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
So
people still claim to see him every once in a while.
When's the next one due?
I'm thinking if it's every, I can't remember how. I'm gonna Google it while we're sitting here and see how often it is. So
we'll have to go hang out wherever the Mothman's coming the next time and just watch, because there'll probably be some cool stuff.
Yeah.
If nothing else, just go sell a lot of life insurance policies.
Yeah, good idea. When I first asked you about being on the show, you said, "Hey, I love paranormal stuff."
Yes.
Have you ever had any kind of paranormal experiences of your own?
Of my own. This is right now. Like I said, I've had stuff that I think was paranormal, but I can't confirm. I think part of that is the fact that I don't really see things as being paranormal that I guess other people think are paranormal. And again, part of that is just how you interact with things around you. I mean, I really don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, I think I've had paranormal experiences, and some of them. Well, I'll give you one example. My grandfather died when I was 12. And I really cared for this man. And I had one night, he kept coming to me in dreams and talking to me and giving me lessons. And the reason I bring him up also is because he's kind of the inspiration for Leonard. He was a drunk. He would get drunk all the time and try to teach me and my cousin these life lessons. And he would do it in this sort of this happy, coherent manner, and it was brilliant. I loved it. But so he used to come to me in these dreams, and one night he told me to tell my grandma, who was still alive, that he was very sorry and that he loved her. That's all he said. He said, "I'm really sorry and I really love you." And I said, "Well, she's not going to believe me." And so he taught me how to tie a double Windsor, a necktie. I didn't know how to tie at that time. And he taught me, and so, and he had a special way of doing the knot. And so the next morning, he lived very far from her, and so she went down to pick up my mother to go shopping or something. And I ran out to the car, and I said, "Hey, Grandma, I was supposed to show you this." And I grabbed this tie and I tied it. And she goes, "That's exactly the way your grandpa used to tie his tie." And I said, "I know, he taught me." and he said to say he's sorry and that he loves you. And then my grandma says, well, you tell him he should have told me that when he was alive. And then she drove away. So that was a fun night. That was a fun thing. So I've had those experiences. My sister used to see ghosts all the time, and she would. They're in our house, and she would speak to them. And there were like three particular individuals. One was an older lady who used to come and sit in her room and sit in a rocking chair and just stare at my sister. And one night my sister was like, why are you here? And she goes, oh, I just like looking at you, darling. I mean, it's kind of it's just, so like, you know, all the experiences that my family's had with ghosts have always been pretty cool. So.
Yeah. It sounds cool. I can't find the Mothman stuff, by the way. I'll have to research that and get back with you.
Yeah, you're
hiding it from you. You're hiding it from you because it's the truth.
I can't find the amount of time and all that. So.
Okay. Gosh.
Hey, Squatch Man's in the house, actually. Yes. We got Squatch Man over here in the comments watching. Lisa, Bob, Troy.
Apparently April's in here.
We see all you folks over there. We just are going with the show.
We're talking with Rodney right now.
Yeah, so we see everybody, though. We love all you guys.
Where was I? I got lost.
You're always lost.
I got lost just now.
One thing I love about Utah is we got all kinds of cool, crazy stuff going on here. We got the Skywalker Ranch. Are you familiar with that?
Yes. Very.
I've sat in front of the property a couple times, and then I could see people down the road, because there's a place where you stop and they say, hey, if you go beyond this point, you're trespassing, right?
Yeah.
So you can stop there, and you can kind of see the front gate, and they always have guards right there, and they'll start staring at you. So I've had a couple times they've gone and they waved back. But that's as close as that. I want to go hang out there one of these days. I would love to go.
Well, you should
probably just walk on down there and say, hey. They probably won't shoot you.
You ever get to go tell them you got some friends?
Yeah. And a couple times I went and hung out at the Area 51, you know, as close as you can get without, getting shot.
Yeah, they will shoot you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is some interesting stuff out there. We need to go visit Rodney so we can go see all the stuff he's got going on out there.
Yeah. When can we come?
Come on down. You can sleep in the
car. All right. We gotta somehow escape this blizzard that's coming our way, and we'll figure out a way to get out there sometime. So, I mean, a lot of people, I don't know how many of the people in the chat here have ever seen your videos and stuff. We've shared a few of them on our pages and our personal pages and stuff.
Yeah.
But you do a few different characters in your act and in your videos and stuff. And you just said that your grandpa was kind of the inspiration for Leonard. What about some of the others?
Most of them are just stuff that just kind of comes to me as I'm driving or sitting on the toilet.
That's what I do my best thinking.
Absolutely. It's I think I think with your when your butt's exposed, it's just there's an open channel to your brain or something that happens.
That's the best ideas. That's the most inspirational moment of the day.
It's I could write novels sometimes.
You're in there long enough to write a novel. That's his way of getting out of stuff too. When something has to happen, all of a sudden, ooh, I gotta poop, and then he's like gone until it's done, and then I'm like,
yeah. That's a trick Elvis men know well. Like, I'll be right back. And the older you get, the more you rely on it because you have to go to the bathroom more anyway. So it's more believable. What people don't realize is we just go to the bathroom a lot just to kind of have that as a setup whenever we need to run to it. Sorry, bladder, I'm an old man. Most of the time we just go in there, brush our teeth, to be very honest with you. We're not actually using the bathroom. We're just
in there with the door closed and
hiding.
At peace.
Are you trying to say you don't get peace outside the bathroom? You trying to say it's not peaceful?
Let's talk about something else, honey.
What are you trying to say, Ernie?
Let's talk about something else, Denise.
You've got people over here in the chat saying they love the mustache, they love you, they just think you're adorable.
Thank you. No, I've been having just a lot of fun. I mean, I think everybody else is getting so serious about everything. A lot of this crap, and nothing we could do about it. So I start goofing off and having some fun. I'm ready to chill out. Because if you get all worked up about everything, you're going to make bad decisions. You're going to be making decisions out of fear, and that's a bad place to be. And we all need to kind of get out of that weird mental fog that we've been stuck in over the last year, and just start living our lives again. Start having some fun.
Yeah.
Amen.
We agree. I mean, we've been in the paranormal a long time. I've been involved with it my entire life because my parents actually hunted ghosts. So I was born and raised into this crazy lifestyle. But we've just really, with the internet and Facebook and everything, just really been involved in it probably the last couple of years real heavily. And the paranormal feels just like anything else these days. There's drama right and left. This person said that. These persons don't like that person this week. Last week they were friends. And somehow or another, we found ourselves in the middle of people that we don't even talk to, calling us, telling us their side of the story, like we want to get involved in it. And we're like, we don't really care.
Right. We try to just kind of, we're friendly with everybody, and we try to go down the middle lane there and not choose sides anywhere, but we got people coming to us from both sides. And I'm sure it's, in the entertainment business, it's the same thing. Everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to be on top. They want their name out there more than your name out there, whatever. And you got people self-promoting and not, just not playing fair. And we've been trying to find a way, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to bring you on.
Yeah,
just try to find a way to lighten it up
a
atmosphere
little bit.
And
Well, we all very much need to lighten up, especially in the paranormal field, because everybody wants to be so serious. They want to be, One thing you got to realize is that spirits and the other side, they have as much of a personality and humor on there as we do, and we try to make everything we do. We try to make it so super serious, and there's really no reason for it. I mean, we can have a lot of fun, it's so ridiculous. I think it's a lot of it's just people trying to aggrandize themselves, trying to be the most important person at whatever it is they're doing. They get a little bit of notoriety and attention, and then all of a sudden they decide that they're the be all, the end all of everything, and then you get others who are and it's so ridiculous, and it's everywhere. I mean, it's not. I see it in the entertainment industry, politics, of course. I mean, it's all so ridiculous, and it's all just people just taking themselves way too seriously.
Yeah, and I think that's why our show goes over so well, because we really don't take ourselves seriously at all.
We don't. Like I say, we're not scripted. We don't have a bunch of questions written down here and, a way to do it. We don't look at ourselves as experts. We can laugh at
ourselves.
Anything.
We laugh at ourselves daily.
I laugh at you a lot. I do.
Well, every good relationship.
He's going to be in so much trouble when the camera quits rolling. You know, it's funny.
To
when you talked about spirits having personality, one of the things we've recently had happen, we were doing an EVP in our basement, and we live close to a very haunted location. And we feel like, because Ernie worked there for a long time, that occasionally we're 3 minutes away. Occasionally those things come and visit us because he was around them for many years. And we had a reason to believe we had something here. So we started running one of our little app things that we use, or spirit box things that we use to try to get voices to communicate. And we're asking, were you just here? And it says yes. And we're like, well, you should be over there. Why aren't you over there? Because it's wintertime and nobody's touring or doing anything.
Tour season's over. It's all shut down.
And the spirit box says, it's boring.
So the spirits are bored up there on the hill.
So they come on over here.
We just thought that was funny.
It was hilarious because who would have thought? The spirit's like, hey, it's boring up there. I'm going to come see what you guys are doing for a while. So it does happen.
Yeah.
So you want to talk
about what?
Well, if you were going to say something, go right ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, what's been what would you say is the most hair-raising experience you've had during investigating the paranormal?
Probably when a Bigfoot ran up the hill at us and he turned around and ran. That would be his most hair-raising experience.
I took a tactical position behind the vans, what I did.
He ran. He didn't care where I was. He ran. I turned around and he was gone.
I had the 45. I had a tactical position behind the van. Everything was good. Her dumbass was running down the hill toward the thing. Just saying.
Well, you know, if you're going to hunt, you got to look for it. If you run from it, you ain't going to find it. If you get picked up and
thrown 300 feet, then I'll tell your kids that's the story. She was hunting.
But Bigfoot isn't the deal is that you don't want you don't want to be a threat towards them? Because if you
well, they supposedly like they supposedly like, you know, women, so I figured that maybe he'd communicate with me.
He might communicate with you in a way you don't like.
Todd over here in the chat's asking who was on top of the van for a little snake. Okay, it wasn't a little snake, and I don't do snakes. Sorry. So
you were willing to put yourself as live Bigfoot, but you were scared of a snake.
I don't do snakes.
Yes.
I don't know what my most hair-raising experience would be. Can you think of any time I've been really scared?
No, because you're crazy.
Yeah, it takes a lot to spook me. I don't really get creeped out too often.
Well, how about this? What experience have you had that you know for sure in your mind was definite confirmation that there is something beyond this world?
Well, every day of my life, I see full-bodied apparitions.
Oh,
every day of my life. Amazing. I was born and raised into this because my parents believed, because my grandmothers believed, because it is a hereditary gift. So every day of my life, I see and hear and talk and communicate, and it never really goes away.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So,
but no, I mean, for me, really, the scariest thing that's ever happened to me on a ghost hunt or paranormal wise was having a disembodied voice when I'm in an empty building. I know I'm the only person in that building, and I can see down in front of me. There's nobody in front of me, but a voice from not more than 3 feet in front of me screamed, "Get out!" And a little bit of pee came out, maybe a little pee came out, and I got out. I mean, you know, and I've been doing this for a long time too, and I've, you know, spent a lot of time in some of the scariest places on earth by myself.
I got pretty,
but that was unusual.
I'm thinking of one time recently that you could say, I guess, kind of jolted me a little bit. We were at a cemetery called Soul Chapel, and it's actually where the little snake was. And it got to be dark, and it's an old cemetery, and there's a whole bunch of stories that surround, like, I mean, you can, depending on what source you read, there's different stories that go with it. But there was an old church there that burnt down, and to read it, you think you're just going through the cemetery itself. But a friend that had us there said, those woods up there are haunted as well, and whatever's up there doesn't like women. Well, that was my cue. I had to go up there and see what didn't like women. So I started up into the woods by myself because, you know, I was like, I got to go by myself if it doesn't like women, because it was me and men. So I was like, y'all got to stay here. So I get maybe 5 feet into the woods, and it's black, like pitch black. But this thing is coming at me that's blacker than the dark. Like I'm able to see it, and it gets right into my face. And I yell down and I tell him it's in my face, but I'm not backing down because it's trying to intimidate me. Well, about the time I said that, the car alarm started going off. It set the car alarm off. And with the first flash of the light, because the car was sitting right near the edge of the woods, with the first flash of the light, because, you know, it lights up whenever the alarm's going off, it lit it up, and it was a wild looking, crazy old man in my face. Leonard. It kind of looked like Leonard, actually. Yeah. It lit it up, and it was like face screaming, and then it went black again. And the second time it lit up, it was gone. So it was kind of surprised me that I was able to get a full face frontal of it. But then when it, you know, the light went off, it lit back up, it was gone, and I could see it retreating on back up into the woods. So that kind of startled me a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have crazy things like that. And they were able to bring some gadgets up there that night, though, and document and see it moving around up there.
Yeah, we got some things on camera and some audio recordings and stuff while we were up there. But yeah, I mean, you've never been ghost hunting. You need to go with us sometime.
I'd love to. I'd love to do a ghost hunt.
Oh, we'll talk after the show, because we got
an open invitation.
We got a couple coming up that are far enough in advance. You might be able to schedule around it if you want to go. We'll discuss them with you. We don't want to discuss it on the air, because then we'll have a ton of people.
We'll have everybody want to go.
I hear you.
Jimmy West asked where y'all from. We're from Louisville. Jimmy.
We're from Louisville, Kentucky. Rodney is in Orem, Utah. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm in Salt Lake City right now, but yeah.
Salt Lake City.
I'm in Utah.
Cool.
Spending my time between here and Las Vegas a lot right now.
You got any shows coming up out that way?
I've got one in Idaho it's in Idaho Falls on the 12th? And then March 12th, and then April 5th, I'm going to be up in Anchorage, Alaska.
Whoa!
And,
wow! It's going to be cold up there.
A tour. Yeah, we're going to be putting together a little tour about 3 or 4 places up and around Anchorage. So
wow.
It should be a lot of fun. I understand they're starting for entertainment. Nothing live's happened for quite a while. So. I mean, they were started before any of this started, so
yeah,
it should be fun.
Yeah,
and trying to get out to more places as things are opening up. Looking forward to doing stuff in Florida quite a bit here this next summer. So yeah, as we all start to open up, hopefully I'll be getting around. I just did a show last night on Dry Bar. Are you familiar with that?
I've seen a couple of your videos from there.
Yeah, there's a club called Dry Bar Comedy. It's all clean comedy out of here in Utah. And I did shows for them this weekend. I didn't know it, but they streamed one of the shows. So if you want to see what I do when I'm in Utah, you can watch. Utah jokes. I was like, well, if I'd known you go streaming to the world, I would have done a different set. But okay, whatever.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we like everything you do. I mean, I got a big kick out of the Santa Claus.
Yeah.
That's an awesome Santa suit, by the way.
I love them all.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to do a new Santa special every year. Santa kind of doing the year in review a bit because it's a fun character. I mean, the whole concept of Santa Claus is great.
Yeah, I like it.
Old curmudgeon-y,
matter of fact.
Matter of fact.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, if you ever make it out to this part of the country, we gotta come and see you. Hopefully, you make it out here to the Midwest or
if they ever
South, whatever you want to call it.
If they ever lift all of we still got a bunch of bans on us around here. What things we still can't do? Kentucky is horrible.
Our governor's an idiot, but anyway.
It is so. Our kids have not been. The Kentucky kids have not been to school for over a year. No hybrid. No 1 day a week. No nothing. They have not physically been in school for over a year.
Oh wow!
That's
crazy.
Ridiculous.
That's crazy.
So we have a 14-year-old son upstairs that's about to go stir crazy.
Oh, I'd imagine. That's crazy. Now, are you guys anywhere near the Daniel Boone National Forest?
It's about 2 hours away.
Yeah, I got stuck there one afternoon. You want to hear the story?
Of course.
Let's hear it.
So I was there doing some work, and I had to rely on my GPS to get me around. And I was in this 2-wheel drive pickup truck, Nissan Titan. And this thing had me going, I was only 3 miles from my next stop if I went on this dirt road that it was showing me to take. But if I'd gone the other way, it was going to take almost an hour to get to where I was going. So I thought, well, I'll just follow this road. Why not? So it's going, it's a dirt road, nothing big, nothing special, it's just fine, graded pretty good. Then it starts getting a little bumpier and bumpier and bumpier and then steeper and bumpier. And then it's just full on ruts that have been washed out. But at that point in time, when I realized I was in trouble, I couldn't go back. You know, there was no turning around, there was no going backwards. I had to see this thing through. So it takes me down this hill to a river, but it's shallow enough that I was able to drive across the river. And there was some roads on that side. I thought, okay, maybe I'd go back up this other side, because I was only literally an hour or a mile and a half from my next stop.
Right.
But the other side that I had to go up was even deeper than the one I had just come down. So I couldn't get up that thing. I'm just spinning my wheels. So then I found this trail that was like a river. I don't know, it was like a old railroad bed or something. So I traveled on, and then it comes to a stop. There's no way I could go further. But there was this big meadow, so I turn around, I go back the other way. And I see this the other side of that trail. So I just start following that. As I'm going along, the road is falling in behind me, so I can't go back. And I got to keep moving because the trail is literally falling down and behind me as I'm driving. You know, I could feel my every once in a while, I feel the back of my truck kind of sinking in. I'm like, I'm stuck. There's nothing I could do to see this thing through the end. And then I finally get to where it's solid ground, so it's not falling in anymore, and it's just open. It's kind of more open. I'm thinking, I'm in the clear, and I go through this little canyon. You know, basically it's just 2 sheer rock walls on either side, and then I come to a gate, and I got no cell phone signal. I have nowhere. I don't know where I'm at. I can't get out of here. I can't go backwards. I got to get through this gate. So I thought it was a forestry service gate or something. I had to get out of my truck and hike about a half mile to where I could get a cell phone signal. And then I called my wife back in Connecticut, And she called the Forestry Service, and they called the Sheriff's Department, and then they called, I don't know, half the state of Kentucky was involved. I think they even had Ohio in for some reason. They had to go find some lady whose property it was, that she had the key to the gate. She was out playing bingo or something. They had to go, the police had to go and find her, and it looked like she was getting arrested or something, and then bring her and her friend out to unlock the gate for me to get out. So I'm sitting there, pretty soon I got the Forestry Service, the state police, the local county sheriff, the local city police, the fire department, and then these two ladies. There's like 25 people show up to open the gate for me.
It's red carpet service right there.
Yeah, it was the most embarrassing thing in my life. And the lady, she's opening the gate. She was very kind. You could swear this was the biggest moment in her life, that she had a police escort to come up on the gate. Meanwhile, her friend is over there calling me an idiot and saying I should have left me here and they should get to keep my truck. And I was just like, holy cow, it was the most ridiculous, embarrassing moment in my life, and it happened in Kentucky. Thank you.
That wasn't near as bad as ours, I guess.
Yeah, that was worse than ours.
That was very worse.
That was worse than ours.
Very worse as ours than ours.
Are you drunk or something? What were you saying? That was worse as ours. What is that? We were going to Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park in West Virginia last summer, and following the GPS, and it gets us off the interstate, and we're just like a mile and a half from the dot on the map, and it tells us to turn on this little one-lane road. We turn on the one-lane road, then it tells us to turn on the gravel road.
I said I didn't think it looked right. I did. I said I don't think it's okay.
Right. So it was, she was all over it. But anyway, so I turned on the gravel road. The gravel road goes up this mountain, and West Virginia is kind of famous for things like Deliverance.
I was born and raised in West Virginia. He's just going there on purpose. I'm a West Virginia girl.
But it's kind of famous for things like Deliverance and Wrong Turn and things like that. So we're going up this road. It starts out as a gravel road.
Deliverance was Kentucky, buddy.
It was set in West Virginia.
It was Kentucky.
They filmed it in Kentucky because they couldn't find anybody who could read a script in West Virginia.
You were in so much trouble when the camera quits rolling. He is in so much trouble when the camera quits rolling. So
we're going up this mud road, and then it goes over a hill, and as it goes down the hill, it's all washouts where the two tire tread lanes are, whatever, where your tires are. That's all washed out.
English is hard.
Well, I'm telling a story. Says.
Yeah, okay.
We get about halfway down the side of this mountain where it looks like the little red dot on the map is just beyond, the tree line. They're just out of sight. And the washouts are so bad that our van winds up sitting on the middle, teetering.
Because there's no place for the tires to go.
The tires are off the ground.
They're right there.
And, we're trying to call the guy from Lake Shawnee, trying to call Chris, say, hey, help, get us out of here. We can't get out. And he's like, I have no idea where you're at. And we're like, we don't either.
He had to get out and find a tree to put underneath one side.
I stuck a long tree under one of the tires and lifted up enough that the van teetered over.
And we could drive sideways out.
We could drive sideways out. It was bad.
He left out the part where I was outside of the van when he did that, and he took off, and I'm still outside of the van, and I'm having to run out of the way so he don't run over me.
I don't want to stop because I might not get going again.
So he was willing to risk running over me so he could get out of the ditch.
I mentioned Deliverance and Wrong Turn. Bad things happen to people in the woods of West Virginia.
And I'm from West Virginia. Bad things are getting ready to happen to you.
So anyway, that was our story. But
Well,
no,
we should have to involve local authorities.
yeah, we didn't have to get the National Guard or anybody like that involved. We finally figured it out, but it was
interesting.
It was scary there for a while because I mean we didn't know if we were ever gonna get out of there.
I wasn't scared. I was just annoyed because we had somewhere to be and we was running late.
You didn't care that the van was teeter-tottering.
I figured I could get a ride with somebody somewhere. I had called my cousin and she was coming to get me. I'd have just left you there.
See, this is how it goes.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Have you ever heard of Waverly Hills Sanatorium? It's one of the most haunted, most famous haunted places in the United States.
No, I can't say I have. But that's where you used to work? It's close to you guys?
Yep. Yeah, that's it's 3 minutes from here, right over there. And I've worked there off and on since 2009, done just about everything there is to do up there. And we're going to be back. This tour season starts March 1st, and we'll be back up there this year hosting investigations.
That's where I met him.
So.
Well, now what do they do there now? Is it an active location? I mean, is it there's stuff going on, or is it just a
no? It's
just tours.
All that's done up there now is the tours and the investigations. It's the building closed in 1981 for the final time, and it's sat empty ever since then. And all they do now is the paranormal tours and investigations up there. But it's a really active place. It's a huge building, 180,000 square feet, and
very active. If you've not had an experience, you will have an experience there.
If you're ever going to have one, that's the place to have it. But
oh wow,
do
you think up on the other side they have tours themselves? They're like, hey, come here. This is where people come to see us.
It's funny that you say it like that. A lot of times we'll see shadow figures at Waverly that they're just kind of peeking out of doorways, and looking at us like they're as curious about us as we are about them, and then when we notice them, they'll jump back in the shadows, like, oh, they saw me.
It's like they know. I mean, the investigations have been going up there since, when did they start investigations?
2001. So
these spirits are very much used to people being in and out and being around, which I guess explains why we're on the off season and they're coming over here telling us they're bored.
Well, do some of them have like a shit? Like somebody who they like to float around and they're orange or run around like a nurse costume or something? I mean, do they have their own little storyline going?
Yeah.
There's stories of there's a story of a nurse who was found hanging outside of room 502 up there. Hence the tattoos.
Those are tattoos?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
She actually helped fix us up, and we were fixed up by spirit.
Believe it or not.
Oh wow. So how'd that work?
You want to start?
The best way to make it short and sweet without going into all the gory details is I was having communications. I was going up there as a tourist, as a guest since 2009. I met him in 2019. And I was going up there for several years, and the story they were telling about this nurse didn't quite add up. I kept feeling like there was something more to the story. Well, then she started coming to me and telling me her story, and I thought, I don't know how to prove this. I still can't find the documentation to prove it, and until I can find documentation, you really can't change the story per the tour guides. You got to kind of go with what they've got going. But he also was having EVP communication. If you know anything about ghost hunting or don't, that's when you set the little recorder out and you talk, and then you might catch a voice that. So his story, with us never meeting, the first time I met him, his story about her correlated with the story she had told me, which is totally opposite than anything they tell you up there. And a series of strange events kept popping up that kept putting us back to get. I was living in Tennessee at the time. He was in Louisville, Kentucky. Like the chances of us having these many opportunities to get together, and like Waverly is a place that January 1st, they fill up tours for almost for the entire year. It's almost impossible to get tickets. I got tickets 4 different times that year. And it was, and
just
he randomly nights that he wasn't supposed to be there, people were calling out, and he had to work that night, and he would be my guide again. And then he popped up on my, it was just strange things. And I didn't even know the first night I left, I didn't even know his last name. Well, as soon as I got home, he popped up on my Facebook as people I might know. It just very weird series of events kept happening till we finally figured out that she was trying to hook us together. So we finally decided to go with it.
So I blame her.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah.
Wow.
But
it's a crazy story. I mean,
we're actually writing a book.
I'm gonna write a book about it because it's just I mean, there's a whole lot more to it than, that was, of course, the extra condensed version of it. But,
I think it's interesting your choice of words. You called it the bird details.
Yeah. But no, it's I don't know. Waverly is just a special place to us, and like you were asking about the different stories. I mean, there's a story of there's a lot of different stories up there. There were 2 sisters that were in the same room up there. It was a TB hospital back during the TB epidemic, which a lot of people can relate to these days with the pandemic going on now. But it was far more deadly than what COVID is. And these 2 sisters, one of them was, I think, 16 when she originally went in there, and the other one was like 22 when she originally went in there. And they wound up in the same room for a couple of years. And one of the sisters, the younger sister lived and was sent home. The other sister died there. And you can still get EVPs of the sister who died, Lois, calling out to her sister Audrey. Plain as day, you'll hear a female voice say Audrey. And
most recently,
just this last year, people have started getting a response where Audrey is answering Lois.
And Audrey didn't die there. They're thinking that maybe they found each other in death
on the other side, and now they communicate there at Waverly, because that's where they spent years together.
Sure.
But there's several different stories of
there was a homeless man who was murdered there, and he still shows up along with his dog. I mean, there's tons. I mean, there's really tons. It's full of history, full of stories.
It's actually one of the places that there is so much shadow play that the best way to have an experience there, like the first floor is extremely dark. And if you're not familiar with it, you use flashlights getting down that dark hallway. But once you get to the second floor, there is enough light from whether it be the moon or the outside lights. If you turn your flashlight off, you can see well enough to make your way down the hallway. And if you do that and just let your eyes adjust, you can see people walking back and forth sometimes like it's an operational hospital. It's very active.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
we love it.
Emma, the woman that died in the foul room, that was Lillian.
You're not supposed to tell people that.
She asked. Sherry, who would murder a homeless man? You want to tell the story since she's asking?
Some satanic teenagers.
So
there you go. You have to take the tour. I'm not giving the tour away for free.
Yeah, we can't give the whole tour out.
There are people that are trying to use the location for, seances or things like that.
When the building sat empty, which it closed in 1981 and it sat empty until 2001, and when it was empty in 2000 or between 81 and 2001, there was a lot of different things that went on in there. I mean, we found pentagrams and signs that, rituals were performed and things like that.
But we don't allow them now.
No, it's not allowed.
It's
not
very it's monitored very closely. There's a lot of trespassing that tries to go on now, but now there's security cameras and security up there pretty much around the clock to keep people from being able to do any of that now. It's cleaned up a lot now.
Is it owned by the state, or is it owned by the state, or who actually owns the location?
It's owned. It's ran by the Waverly Hills Historical Society. It's a nonprofit. The building's on the National Registry of Historic Places, so it has to be run as a nonprofit. But they have a lot of events. They put on a theatrical haunted house around Halloween, and they do all these tours and everything the rest of the year. And
it stays booked. Like I said, they put the tickets on sale January 1st. And by the 15th of the month, every private investigation for the year is gone. And then they have public overnights that are pretty much gone within that first month. And then they have little 2-hour tours. I mean, it books up within a month and a half. It's usually booked solid.
Yeah, if you want to get in there for even a 2-hour tour, you better book a couple months in advance.
Yeah, it goes fast.
But
wow.
It's a really cool place, and there's a lot of places like that, and all of them are kind of suffering with all this COVID stuff because they're not the big Walmarts and the big corporations that the government's handing millions of dollars of bailout money to. If they lose money because they got to cancel tours and stuff, they just lost money. And
that money's what's restoring them and keeping them open.
Keeping those buildings standing. Because like Waverly, it's got a lot of problems with water leaks. And, if you don't get that water out of those buildings, those buildings are going to collapse. And that's what all the tours and all the funds that are raised are there for, is to try to save the building.
But we're determined to get you on a tour with us or a ghost hunt or something so you can have a good experience.
Yeah, you got to have fun yourself.
Love to do it. Maybe we could work something out, like come out, do a tour, and do a show to raise money for the place.
Yeah, well, when we go off the air here in about 3 minutes, if you just hang out with us for a minute, we've got some information. If it works into your calendar and you're interested, we got some information for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
and we'll
fantastic.
take you squatching too. We'll take you to meet the infamous Squatch Man. We got it all right here.
Yep.
Love to do all of that stuff.
Well, do you have any websites or anything you want to plug, anything like that before we get off of here?
Does Leonard have any more inspirational words?
Yeah, any final?
Well, you can find me if you just type in Rodney Norman Comedian. All my social media stuff pops up. Follow me on YouTube, and I think my message to the world is just chill out, cheer up, and let's have a good time. There's a lot of horrible things going on in the world. They've always been going on. They'll always continue to go on, but do what you can, speak up when you can. But most of this is going to happen whether we want it to or not. So don't get yourself worked up. Just roll with the flow and have fun. Learn what you can, move on.
Yep.
That's all.
And you know what you get for being on our show? You get an awesome Packman Paranormal T-shirt. So we'll get your size and address, and we'll send you one.
Well, fantastic! I'll send you some. Have a super awesome day T-shirts myself.
Awesome!
Right.
That
That's
sounds
great.
good. Sounds like a great trade. Well,
Good deal.
Folks, we appreciate you joining us tonight. I know it was a little different than our normal conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed it, though, and I hope it, brought a smile to your face. And that's what we keep trying to do anyway. We try to stay positive and smile and just keep moving forward. And I really appreciate you coming on, Rodney, because
thank you very much.
You are an inspiration in that way.
You're very welcome.
But anyway, folks, we'll be back next week with a show. We've got Shannon Lane coming on next week. She's a medium.
Yep.
And ghost hunter. And she's going to tell us some really cool stuff. So You guys join us next week for that.
Stay
in the meantime,
safe.
stay
Anybody
safe.
in the middle of the elements, be prepared. Go to the
I know we got an
store.
ice storm down south. We got a blizzard coming our way. Everybody stay safe and be good to one another. Take care.